What is up, guys? It is your favorite Talker Lotus here today. Welcome back to the Nerd Corner, and in today's video I will be giving you my review for episode 9 of Orange, letter 9. And I gotta be honest with y'all, because I really was not feeling this episode at all for the most part. There were one or two moments that really stood out to me that I thought were pretty great, that I enjoyed in particular. But for the most part, I thought this was a pretty bad episode, truth be told. Like, it really irritated me in several aspects. I felt like it dipped in quality in several categories. And there were just a lot of things that happened that I wasn't a fan of. And I have no doubts that, the next couple episodes will be better. They have to be better. But, yeah, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There were some things about this episode that I really didn't like, and it's easily my least favorite of the series thus far. I mean, it started off well enough. We see Azu and Taka, they're apologizing to Naho, telling her that she's got their support, and that they've got her back. And Azu says the reason she wasn't following the letter at first is because she thought it was a prank. She didn't think it was real, and that's why she was, rooting for Kakeru and in a way to senpai to be together. But then, Naho started acting strangely. She realized something was up, and it turns out that the letter was real, so she believed it and started following it. In my opinion, I feel like her and Taka still took way too long to take note of Naho's feelings for Kakeru and to act upon it and, tell her that she's got their support and all this and this and that. I still feel like they took way too long to reveal that they had letters, but hey, what are you gonna do? So as we proceed, we see that in Azu's letter, it says that on her birthday, which was coming up very soon, on October 5th, it was going to rain that day, and Kakeru wanted to share an umbrella with Naho. The forecast actually said that it was going to be sunny, but since they've received this information from the letter, everybody except Kakeru was aware that it was going to rain that day, so they all came prepared with umbrellas, obviously except for Kakeru. So when this happens, everyone's kind of like a straight up jerk to Kakeru, because like he's the only one without an umbrella, and he's like, wait, why do you all have umbrellas? It said it was going to be sunny. Like, nah fam, it said it was going to rain. He's like, y'all lying. Why are you lying to me? Why are you lying? And then he's like, well, Suwa, let me get up under here with you. And Suwa's just like, nah, fam, you good, you got it. And then Hagita's like, nah, fam, you good, you got it. And then he asked for the umbrella that Azu received as a birthday gift from Hagita, since she already has an umbrella. And she's like, nah, fam, you can't have it. See this one right here? Nah, this isn't for using, this is for treasuring, you know what I'm saying? Because this was a precious gift from Hagita. And on one hand, that's cute because, the whole Azu-Hagita relationship thing. But on the other hand, it's like, damn, y'all really did this man dirty. Like, I understand why, because it's all, you're all setting it up so that he, shares an umbrella with Naho. But at the same time, I'm like, that's kind of raggedy, that's kind of grimy. Surely you could have found another way to go about this, but whatever. Although personally, if I was Kakeru, I'd have felt pretty backstabbed. I'd be like, all right, I see how it is. I thought we was cool. I thought we was all homeboys. I see how it is. That's cool. I got you. But whatever, it works out in the end. He gets to share an umbrella with Naho, and they begin to walk home together, and everyone's just smiling and like, yes, success. And I'm like, y'all still grimy though. But this is where the episode starts to irritate me, and something happens that I just can't do anything but shake my head at. And that is when Kakeru's trying to get in closer and closer with Naho as they're walking under the umbrella, and he's like, getting closer, like, oh, you'll get wet. And he kind of gets up in her face a little bit. And what else does a Naho do in a situation like this? Nothing but, of course, to smack his hand and knock the umbrella out of it and onto the ground, so that you both get soaking wet and you completely screw up a moment that could have been really romantic, because that's what Naho's do in this situation. Anytime there's an opportunity presented to completely destroy any type of romantic moment between the two of you, if you're a Naho, what you have to do is completely annihilate it, rip its heart out, toss it in the dumpster, and then shove that dumpster down Kakeru's throat, because that's what Nahos do. That's what Nahos do in a situation like this. And if you don't do that, you're not a true Naho. At least that's what I've come to realize thus far in this series, because it seems like at any given moment Naho has to screw things up, she screws things up. Which is why I say that without the support of Azu, Taka, and Suwa, she would be probably the most useless main character I have ever seen, truth be told. And it's really frustrating, and it's really irritating, and it's really starting to make me like this series less. But again, I'm not gonna harp on that. I'm not gonna harp on it. But, well, I mean, because there is a moment of redemption for her when they're taking cover under like this little shrine or fort or whatever it is, like this little arch thing that kind of reminds me of the Garden of Words. She actually holds out her hand for Kakeru and wants to hold his hand, and I'm like, oh, we're getting somewhere. Progress. I'm feeling it. You get my respect for this one. Nice move. I'm nodding my head. Yes. And then Kakeru's stupid ass decides to reverse the roles, because we remember, Naho wouldn't grab Kakeru's hand. Now Kakeru doesn't want to grab Naho's hand because he's like, oh, we held hands before. It's no big deal. We did it at the fireworks or whatever, so, I'm good. And I'm like, bruh, you did not You did not just turn down holding hands with her after you made such a big deal out of it twice, not once but twice in the last episode, to the point where you got depressed, walked away with your head down and your tail between your legs because she didn't realize you wanted to hold hands. Guys, if I could, I would certainly reach my hand through my phone into the Crunchyroll app and backhand the both of them back to back because they deserve it. Somebody needs to slap some sense into these two characters, and if I could, I would be the one, but I can't, so maybe Suwa will do it. Hopefully, I doubt it, but that'd be great to see. Or maybe Taka. She seems a little violent and aggressive. She should give them that push that they need. And by push, I mean to the face with the back of her hand. But anyway, Kakeru does eventually take Naho's hand because she gives him like this really cute, sopping wet puppy dog look. And he's like, she's like, is one time enough? Like that's all you need? And he blushes and takes her hand. I'm like, see, now this is sweet. Now this is romantic. Now we're finally getting somewhere. But of course that moment doesn't last very long. We actually get like this kind of sad part where it's like I'm not sure whose letter it was. I don't know if it was Azu's or Naho's. I can't remember. But apparently the athletic meet that we've been leading up to, you know, with the relay race and all that. Apparently, you know, Kakeru did poorly that day, and he even fell during the relay race. So it was like a pretty bad day for him. The blue team won and the red team lost, and the red team was, you know, Naho, Kakeru, and the gang. And so it actually turned out to be a pretty bad day for him. And at first I thought, you know, that was like a diary or mental note from like present day Naho, but it turns out that was part of the letter from like future Naho. And so they're doing, you know, what they can to make sure that it's opposite. Apparently everyone had family members that gathered that day except for Kakeru for obvious reasons. His father's not in his life, his mother's dead, he doesn't live with his grandmother. But Suwa arranges it so that his father brings Kakeru's grandmother, so everyone's parents are there, Kakeru's grandmother's there, and that just so much more enhances Kakeru's mood because he was kind of depressed that everyone else had, you know, relatives there to support them except for him. And I just want to note that we get like these like random flashbacks into like Kakeru's like past, like with his mom, and like this imagery and stuff, and like the sad music, and I kind of enjoyed it. But there was one that was like, it was very, very sudden and jarring, and I forget at which moment it happened, but I just remember there was something going on with the athletic meet, and it's kind of more like an upbeat thing, and then like out of nowhere, it just like cuts, the screen goes blank for a few seconds, and at first I thought something was wrong with my phone. I thought my phone died for a second, like I thought my phone was about to shut down, and so I tapped the screen, and no, the episode was still playing, and then it cuts to like this scene of like of Kakeru at home with his mom, and she's like cleaning the house, and he's like sulking in the corner and stuff, and he's like reflecting on like his, you know, depression in recent years, and I'm like, although like I'm enjoying the scene, that was like that really threw me off. You know what? I think that happened right after the moment where Kakeru ties, you know, Naho's ribbon around her head, and she ties his around his head, in order to like, you know, gear up for the athletic meet. I think that might have been when it happened. I can't quite recall. I might be wrong on that. But either way, it really threw me off, and it was a good scene. It just wasn't incorporated very well in my opinion. But anyway, the athletic meet continues, and this is where I know all the fangirls went absolutely wild, because we already know my man Suwa, Mr. Juice Man himself, Playboy Hugh Hefner, the god himself. Suwa already is dripping in the ladies, like he's got to beat them off with an iron stick, right? But this man takes his shirt off for this event, right? Straight up Calvin Klein model, chiseled six-pack abs with the pecs and the bicep, tricep, you already know, right? And yeah, the girls go crazy. So much so that even the girls on the other team like, oh my god, Suwa, you're so hot, I hope you win. My boy Suwa's such a savage. He's like, you're not even on my team, fam, get out of here. He straight swerves them like, we don't love these hoes. He's like, he doesn't even look at them, like he's looking completely in the opposite direction, like with his back towards them. It's like, you're not even on my team, get lost. And I'm like, yo, straight up savage. So I guess the fangirls had their moment, and niggas like me had their moment for, you know, appreciating Suwa, because, you know, the muscles don't do nothing for me. I was like, oh, my man's a shredded, so I already know he got the girls all over him. But when he did that savagery and straight dissed the blue team girls like that, I was like, yo, my boy is a straight up savage. But what also happens when he takes his shirt off is that even Naho is kind of like infatuated, and it's like right in front of Kakeru, and she's like looking at Suwa and blushing, and like, yeah, he's pretty hot without his shirt on. And I'm like, yo, you can't you can't be saying things like, you can't be, gawking at Suwa like this in front of Kakeru. And then, yeah, we kind of see that come into play where Kakeru, like, he kind of gets a little bit of an attitude when he takes his shirt off, and Suwa's like, Naho's like, Kakeru, are you doing all right? You okay? Whatever. And he's like, yeah, I know I'm not much like Suwa, and I can't be reliable like him, but whatever. And he walks off, and I'm like, dog, Naho, you know you fucked up with that, right? Like you really screwed up there. But whatever. Kakeru and Suwa both work really, really hard in this next event, and they actually succeed and they do well. Suwa actually gets injured because I guess like a lot of the older students were like targeting him because he was obviously like a big threat in this event. And so he got injured, he got banged up. Kakeru did a little bit too, but Naho gives first aid to Suwa. But when she tries to treat Kakeru, like he like smacks her hand away and is like, nah, I'm good. I told you I'm good. I'm fine. And he walks off, and I'm like, yo, why are you tripping? Like, you can't still be upset about that, what just happened a moment ago. I mean, I guess you could, but it wasn't really, like, this should be a prime opportunity for you to get in close with Naho and get a little, sensitive and romantic and, intimate while she treats your arm or whatever. But no, I guess not. He runs off again because that's what you do when you're a Kakeru. You run away every time things don't go your way. And he reflects on a moment that he had with Suwa, and Suwa's like, what if you're not here and someone else scoops up Naho? Won't you be upset? Like, if I start dating Naho? And Kakeru was like, nope, I think that'd be a good idea. And as he's reflecting on this moment, he's like, but that's not really how I'm acting, is it? And that's where the episode ends. So, on top of all the things that I didn't really enjoy about this episode, like all the moments I was really disappointed in, another thing that you can't miss, like it was very noticeable because it happened so many times, there were a lot of like animation like derps in this episode. Like there were more than several, there was actually dozens and dozens of scenes where the art looked pretty derpy, like large foreheads, eyes too far apart, weird faces. And for the most part, like the series has looked pretty damn good. And even in this episode, there were like some really great moments with the art, but there were also a lot of really bad ones, and that really threw me off and also hindered my enjoyment of the episode. So overall, there were one or two moments in this episode that I thought were great, but I actually didn't enjoy it overall. So this is my least favorite episode, but I am still liking the series. But honestly, I don't like it as much as I did, for the first half. But we'll see how it goes. Definitely let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Hit this video with a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already, so you guys can stay tuned for all the awesome content I'm bringing you. And with all that being said, that's pretty much all I have for today, so I will catch you guys next time. Later.